So we got quite a bit going on out at the house right now. I don't know if you can hear me very well because we got a generator going and we've got a blower going because we're getting insulated today, which is, insulation marks a transition period. You go from in my mind, rough in work to finish work on the inside. It's very exciting. So yeah, let's go check it out. Before we go inside, I just want you guys to see, I got a dumpster, a 20-yard dumpster, some free advertising for those guys. They're great to work with because I've got a bunch of boxes inside that need to get thrown away, and I've also got this leftover, this pile and one other pile over here from framing, roofing, everything. Now, you guys might be looking at this and saying, wow, what a mess. I'm telling you, this is the cleanest job site I may have ever had. We've got this pile, and there's one pile about half that size over there from framing and roofing, and that's it. Minimal waste, minimal trash. All this hardy is going back to ride out. It was left over. We got way too much material because, as you can see, our hardy is done. So we got our gable done right here with our board and batten hardy board. Hardy board is a concrete composite board, very durable. Not super affordable, but not, as expensive as LP or Everlast siding, for instance. Those are much higher. But this will get painted. It's going to be painted like a white color. They will caulk along every batt and every groove and every seam. The painters will before they paint, and it will look really, really good. It's that ugly yellow color right now. But then they did this gable here and my dormer window also, and then my porch ceilings, front and back, are also hardy. So hardy is done. And then I want to show you one other thing. Soffit and fascia are going on. I'm telling you guys, we are rolling out here. So I'm using a new soffit and fascia crew. They're doing a great job. This is Pebblestone clay color. It's like a light brown tan color. It's going to complement our weathered wood brown shingles really well, and then our white brick. Kind of some contrast. I don't want white soffit fascia, white brick, white siding, white everything. I want some contrast. And they're doing a great job. They've got all down this side done. This is vinyl, by the way. Vinyl, soffit, and fascia. The soffit is the flat part with the lines in it that's vented so that the attic can vent out. That's also where our fart fans vent. And then the fascia is the part right up here. Let me see if I can zoom in. Right here that goes under our shingles. So the shingles overlap over the fascia. It's metal. And then this other part right here with like the two-step right there where my finger's going, that's brick freeze. So the brick will go up and behind that and seal it off nicely. So you've got fascia, soffit, brick freeze, and it's looking good. They've got all down this side done, the back side. They still got to do the porch, obviously, but yeah, it's looking really clean, really nice. Right now, I'm gonna get all these light fixtures in the attic. I like having my stuff here so that whenever my electricians can get to it, it's here ready for them. And I put it in the attic because it keeps it safe away from everybody. These are my island lights, my dining room lights, my vanity lights, all that. From this angle, you can kind of see that soffit fascia color better. Just the way the light's hitting it. Kind of like a light brown tan color. I think it looks really good. And they also did black plumbing vents, which is nice instead of white. White stands out a lot on a darker shingle color like this. So they did black for all my plumbing vents. and I really appreciate that. It's nice. It is a rainy, nasty day out, but we are finally to the point in the project where that really doesn't matter as much because we're dried in and we can keep working even when it's raining, which is one of my favorite things about being dried in. Yesterday we got insulated, and then as the insulators were packing up their tools, drywall got delivered, and this morning the drywall hanger showed up. So you can't stagger it much cleaner than that. I'm pretty proud of that and how that's worked out, and obviously that's a testament to my subs also, and so I appreciate them being quick. So we're hanging drywall, and that means that pretty soon we'll be trimming cabinets, painting, and countertops. It's a rainy day here, as you can see. But I want to show you guys something. The music's pretty loud out here, but I want to show you something that happened last night when this storm came through. They're really rocking out in here, but I want to show you this insulation and how we went about doing this. So we did cellulose in the exterior walls, which is shredded newspaper with some liquid water with water that makes it sticky. And they blow that in like the video showed a second ago. And that is our entire perimeter of our home on the exterior walls. Cellulose is cheaper than spray foam. It's not nearly as airtight as spray foam, but it's a lot cheaper, and it's still a very good insulation value. We're getting R13, which is what residential code calls for in this area. And like I said, it's great, especially with having foamed. I went through with foam, with the door and window foam, and foamed around every single window and every single door. So we're not losing air in our gaps between our framing and our zip tape on the outside of our windows or our doors. They do zip tape them, and zip tape is very watertight, airtight. It's great, but it's not perfect, especially over time. So this foam is another great value. You see they get this cellulose in every crack and crevice of the wall. It's really dark in here, I'm sorry, but you can see it's very, very dense. It honestly is like super dense and fluffy. But then on walls that are not exterior walls, we did batts. You say, well, why'd you do that? Well, there's a few reasons. The first reason we did batts as opposed to cellulose on our interior walls is because in the past what we've done is our drywallers have come and pre-hung drywall on one side of those walls because the cellulose has to have something to stick to, right? Like it's blown up against the exterior sheathing that's behind it, and that's what adheres it into the wall cavity. So anytime you are insulating a wall that doesn't have exterior sheathing on one side for the insulation to adhere to, you have to do one of two things. Have drywall pre-hung, like I said, or you have to use batts, because batts staple into the stud bay and they're freestanding, so they don't have to have any sheathing or drywall on either side, just like this wall. So this wall right here is our master bedroom wall, and on the other side of the wall is the living. I want this to be a quiet room. If, you know, we've got people that are watching television, playing games out here, and we need to be in the bedroom or something of that nature, I want it to be soundproof to some extent. So this is what it looks like on the other side in the living room. We also ran into this on our garage walls, because if you look, we have exterior sheathing right here, But the front porch ends right here, and now you're inside, and there's nothing behind that. So what we did is we have these R13 insulation batts that are our garage to house insulator. And what this does is it allows it to be freestanding. It's also easier around the panel. You're not spraying cellulose inside the panel or around these wires. You just put the batts in. And what that allows us to do, some of these are falling out because of the storm last night, is to insulate without having to pre-hang drywall. In the past, on other projects, we'll come in, they'll hang drywall on the inside, and then they spray cellulose up against it. We didn't have time to do that. Like I said, it was very rushed, this process of, framing inspection, rough-in mechanical, and then boom, we're insulating, and now we're drywalling. It was literally one day we're insulating, the next day we're drywalling. So I didn't want to have our insulators come back, so this is what we decided to do. Now, I will say this. The insulation value of the batts is identical to the insulation value of the cellulose. If anything, cellulose is a little bit better, which is why I did it on my exterior walls, but the batts are still sufficient. And I can already tell a difference in sound. These guys are blasting music and shooting screws and hammering in the living room, and I'm standing in my master, and because of this wall right here that is insulated, it's so quiet. And once we get a door, especially, and drywall, it'll be really soundproof. So I'm glad we did this. And we also did it on this wall, which leads to the laundry room. And so we're literally going to be laying in bed right here in between these windows, and our laundry room is right there next to us. But now that it has batts, we won't hear it, or it'll be very, very minimal. So that's nice, and that's something you may consider doing in your house.